We'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we don't have anybody out there. So what I'd like to do before we start with the agenda items, I'd like to have Joan kind of bring us up to date on what's happening with the funding.
Okay, this year's budget had $30,000, which obviously we are not going to spend this year, and it'll roll over to next year. The city manager has indicated that she really feels that the first order of business is to maintain what we have. And so I think tonight's so that $30,000 will be available for next year for maintenance. If anything is left over after that, I mean, there's a pot of $30,000. And so depending upon what we use, that's part of the reason I volunteered to do some of the restoration, because I didn't want to spend $18,000 having work that we could do internally, done. So I'm going to work with some of the folks in facilities, and I'm doing the first one, and then I'm going to teach them how to go about doing it. So hopefully that will work out. And whether we will have enough to actually do a project, it's really going to depend upon the maintenance costs and what we decide to do with some of the things that this group noted on that field trip need some work. So that's the financial situation as it stands right now.
Okay. And if there is something left over, I mean, we can use it. It doesn't have to go to maintenance.
It doesn't have to go to maintenance, no.
Yeah, okay.
No.
And that's available as of November this year?
October 1. October
Of
1
this
is,
year.
October 1 is the fiscal year, so it'll be available on October 1. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. The reason I wanted to bring this up today is because a lot of the things that we're going to be discussing on the last meeting and this meeting have to do with funding, or what's available to us. Yeah. Okay. So the first item on the agenda is do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Okay, motion is approved then. The second, third, and fourth items on the agenda have to do with the policies and procedures for donations, artist selection, community engagement. You have these in your pamphlet. Joan put these together based on past experience. I don't know, have you had a chance to kind of run through them?
I've looked them up. Michael, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can we have Erica, right?
Yes.
Introduce herself and say a
Sure,
little bit,
yeah.
because she's new and she wasn't here
Yes.
last time. Is
Yes.
that okay?
Yeah, fine.
I was here last time.
Well, I mean, not up here.
Oh, not up here, no.
Yeah. So we want to welcome you.
Thank you. Erica Wilkins, I'm a City of Oldsmar resident. I've been in Oldsmar 11 years or 12 years, been here quite a while now. I do photography as an amateur, so that's kind of my art background. And I serve the East Lake Marching Band as their photography person, as well as sit on some board positions there.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I just know what it's like to be new.
Oh, yeah.
We got to spend time with her on the tour.
Yeah. So do we want to go over some of these guidelines, in more detail?
Let's see.
Is there
I think
anything that-
they covered a lot of stuff I didn't even
Yeah,
think about.
they do, yeah. Yeah, it's very in-depth, that's for sure. I've gone through it, from my perspective, I can't add anything to it or detract from it, so I don't know if, possibly you
Well,
might have some ideas.
So I just wanted to ask before I start speaking out. Are we gonna look at these as two different items? We're gonna look at the donor selection item and then the artist selection item and talk about them one at a time, or are we gonna talk about them just both?
No, one at a time. I think.
Okay, so we're talking about the donor right now?
No, no, we're talking about, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the donations.
I would interject here that the donation policy was put in the task force, the master plan. It was approved actually by the city council several months ago. So unless there's something burning in it that you want to recommend a change, this has already been approved in terms of a policy by the city council.
And that was this year.
That was just a couple months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the only thing I would like to add, and it doesn't really address trying to change the policy or anything like that, but it's more, why would we accept donations? What do we want out of it? What is our, I was looking at the vision and the mission. What is the purpose? Because I think that will help us ultimately, and I don't think we have to do that today, but I think as a sort of, maybe I would phrase it this way, as we get better at what we do as an advisory board and more experienced, we might want to visit this and say, okay, we understand how, but let's talk about why and what we're hoping to accomplish as a community by even, accepting donors or donations or, because I think that may be helpful in terms of, it's not a specific criteria, but it fits the goals and the missions and the objectives, then that's really helpful to people.
I think this one, this is primarily focused on potential donations coming to us from other people.
Yes, I
And
understand.
so we have to kind of provide the guidelines as to what we're going to accept and what we're not going to accept and how we're going to accept it. Yeah.
Right, and the purpose of the guidelines is to create an orderly and consistent process. So it's really good to have a process. What are we looking for as a city by even thinking and talking about accepting artistic donations?
Well, if a certain artist wants to have some, exposure and they donate a sculpture or they donate something, then we would have to go through this whole process.
Right,
Free
right.
art is hard to find.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't happen very often. Does it happen much in your world, Barbara?
Well, I guess this is
That's
why.
what you're asking.
I guess this is why, because, didn't happen that much to Creative Pinellas, but Heritage Village, which was our, programming partner in the Botanical Gardens as well. For the longest time, they would accept,
Everything.
donations, and a lot of them were quality or whatever, but they would accept them because they met a criteria. I guess the way I would describe it is they didn't really have use value for the museum itself. So they ended up, they have rooms and rooms and rooms full of donations.
Wow.
And then they got to a point where it's like, what do we want to accomplish? Okay, so this, for the next 5 years, maybe we want to grow our history of the Black and Hispanic communities because we have a gap there, or the Native American communities or something, and we don't have a desire as a museum, and it's a museum certainly, but to continue to have, early 19th century furniture, because we have enough of that. Where that furniture might have met the criteria very well, of the guidelines, but it wasn't the purpose or the mission at the time. So that's where that came from. And I don't think it's pressing, but since we were talking about
Yeah.
this, I thought I wanted to just bring it up.
Okay, do we have a motion to move forward with these guidelines?
Somebody else want to make a motion? Make your first
I'll
motion?
make a motion to approve the guidelines.
I'll
Okay,
second.
okay, all right, the guidelines are approved. All right, the next item is developing policies and procedures to ensure quality and fair artist selection. And I understand this was used to approve Lena and her husband's project. So it's
And,
fairly new.
and taking flight. No, this
Oh,
is,
taking flight
and
as well.
taking flight. This is an excellent system.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen a better, have you, I have not seen a better
No,
system.
this is really well done.
Excellent.
The only thing I would raise, I must be just, probably been too quiet all weekend. $250 is, if somebody's gonna really bring you a nice package for a design, $250 is very low. If you think about how many hours an artist is gonna put in to a design, let's just say it's probably more than 10. Then at 10, you're paying an artist $25 an hour.
I don't think, Joan, we didn't have 10 finalists for those
No.
2 projects, did we?
10 hours.
Oh, 10 hours.
Yeah. they
Okay.
put- Yeah, so, or if they put in 20 hours, then you're down to $12.50 an hour. It's just very low.
Well, for instance, that right there was our, see the star model? That was the model
Yeah,
for the last one,
right.
right? And then when we did Taking Flight, they just did presentations. They don't make a mock-up. All of them
Right.
don't make a mock-up. They just do a video presentation.
Right, but they made the design, right?
Yes, yes,
So
but
that-
there were only like 3 finalists, weren't there?
Yes, there were 3 finalists that were invited to present, and we specified in the call for artists what the
Right.
fee would be. And we had 50 submissions, and we from that, we chose 3 finalists. And I understand, the concern about valuing artists and their time and their ability. But all of those funds come from what's
30
available to do the
Right.
project.
Right.
So the more we spend on asking them to do proposals, the less becomes, so it's a balancing act. And I think it is important to let people know ahead of time so that they don't, so they can make a decision to either apply or not apply. And, this is a small community with not a lot of money.
Yeah, and the last 2, the first one, we had submissions from all over the world. All over the world. And I don't know about Taking Flight, if we had some from out of the country. But
I don't know, I
Yeah,
wasn't here for
so-
that one, yeah.
I understand the concern as well, but you're used to bigger budgets than we have here in Oldsmar.
Yeah.
Where did the 250 come from?
It comes from the art
Comes out of
fund.
the project funds. If you have $30,000, you need to set aside, we needed, when we did that project, the one for the sports complex, we had $38,000 in the budget. From that, we subtracted the fee that we paid to Cafe to run the call for artists. That was, I think, $500 is what it cost us. We had to subtract what we paid for the design development, and then there was a very small set aside that was just, in case of emergency kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of those fees, so we had to back out, a couple $1,000s before we got to the project. So we actually had less money to do the project itself. So I can see that for the foreseeable future, that's probably going to be the way things will operate around here, until we get farther along in this process. We're at the
I do have a
grassroots
question on this one as well. So do we have to vote on that or anything? Was that just, was
Well, I
it a
didn't make a
suggestion?
I
Oh,
didn't make
okay.
a motion,
Okay.
so we don't have to vote. And I'm thinking that it was good to get everybody's feedback,
Yeah.
and
Well, no, my question was, how did they come up with this amount?
How did,
The 250, I mean, how was that decided? Is that a normal practice? Just right out of the, yeah, okay.
I think it was pulled out of a hat. I think it's probably what they had paid the previous, for the previous project a couple years before. So it seemed as though they had enough applicants at that time using that fee. So I think that's it was nothing more scientific than that. I came right at the beginning, and that had already been
Yeah.
decided, but that's my impression, is that it was picked out of a hat.
I think we start with 250, and if we have to adjust, we adjust down the road. I mean,
Well, this is really just, all this, when we talk about developing policies for artist selection, this is the process that we used the last time.
Right.
Yeah, the last
That's
few
really
times.
all that I wrote out here is, these were the steps that we went through to get, and so I think if we look at it from the standpoint of, does this seem like a reasonable process? Individual parts of it can be tweaked as we go along, but does the framework, the fact that we pay an artist to develop
That's very helpful.
a piece to consider, is more important than how much we pay them, because over time, it will change. It has to change.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much, because it gave me a better framework. So like for a $30,000 piece, then we might say 250, or we might say 300. But if we had a $75,000 piece, we
yeah.
might say we need to up that.
Exactly.
And so maybe that could be the modification, that instead of saying currently 250, we say each selected artist is paid, and that fee to be determined, or no less than, or something like that,
Yeah,
Sure.
so that we could,
so it can be based on how much we have, yeah.
we-
That's a great suggestion.
by
so then,
size of project or budget.
Well, the budget will determine the size of the project.
the artist is paid, each selected artist is paid for the design based on the budget and other considerations.
Yes. All right, I have a question on this one as well. Now that we have this official art task force, right, and it's a public and everything else, are we gonna be the selection committee, or are we gonna have to get?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Because we've already done all the work to get people from different fields and to get, if we go outside of the art task force for the selection committee, I think, well, I don't want to offend anybody, but I think I would like us to be the selection committee.
As it stands right now,
As it's-
legally, we don't. We would have to nominate a selection committee.
What do you think, Joan?
I think you need to look at the resolution that established the board, because I think that is written out. When we went through the training with the city attorney, he talked about the role of this board is completely prescribed in that resolution. Now, that does not mean that this board can't influence who's on a particular task force to select a particular piece of art. But I would suggest that what this board, that there should be representation from this board on those committees, but each piece needs to have representation. Let's say if it's going to be in a neighborhood, there should be neighborhood
Or the neighborhood
representatives.
association.
If
That's
it's
a
going
good
to be
point.
like the
Right.
sports complex,
Right,
we wanted
right,
to have all those
right.
teams represented. So I think to say that this board would make all the decisions is very limiting and really not conducive to community engagement, which is,
Right, that makes better sense, to have representation, and then we could even discuss who the finalists, we could even, discuss it.
this board could
before
make
the
a
representative
recommendation
goes
to the city council
Right,
that the
right.
following people be appointed to the selection committee for this year's piece of artwork.
Yeah, and that would be based by, case by case as well, because like you said, the sports guy, a certain HOA president of a neighborhood, if it's gonna go in their neighborhood,
Right.
yeah, that makes more sense. Okay,
Now, can we go to the city council and say that we want to have one of the board people part of the committee?
This board could make a recommendation to the city council, yes, on
I think
anything
that's- I
related
think that's
to
important, yeah.
public art, yeah. And I would contend that should be something, when the time comes to appoint a selection committee for that we recommend that there be representation from the advisory board.
so
Awesome.
do we want to modify this so that includes a bullet point about that?
I think so, yeah.
On,
has this already been approved word for word by the city council?
No, the only thing that was approved was the donation policy.
Oh, okay, good, so we can, yeah.
Yep, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yes, I agree, to modify.
So let's modify those two items.
Yeah, so the art. I'm just looking for where it
So,
goes. Actually, that
So the
leads me,
selection committee should have representation from at least one member of the board.
well,
Say two,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd say all of us, but I'm not pushing my luck.
Yeah.
Is it, because how was the selection committee chosen last time?
I think Felicia chose,
I think that there, given that it was at the sports complex, I know that they wanted representation from each of the sports that were at the complex. And then, that group was already intact when I came. I
Is the
think
city
they
council
asked
would
for people, but and in any event, the city manager took a slate of people and presented it to the city council, and they approved. I know that they approved who was on that, just the same way that the public art task force was approved by the city council. People
Right.
volunteered, people were recruited, people
Right.
came in different ways, same as this board, you know.
I see.
They have the final say in who gets selected.
so we would probably want to put in something like a selection, so, at some point, either before the artists submit their work or after, a selection committee would be established based on recommendations from stakeholders. And then we could say that includes the task force, the city manager's office. If it's an educational project, it could include someone from the
exactly,
schools.
yeah. And then we also had an architect because he was building.
Right.
Yeah, so
So, and.
that's another
Right.
specific to the project
Right, so.
criteria.
A selection committee is established on recommendation of stakeholders, which includes the task force, city manager's office, and other,
Community members.
do we want to
Like
say?
stakeholder, I'm not good at writing.
Yeah, I had
but
recommendation from stakeholders. I include
stakeholders, I
that.
think, is good because
Yeah.
that is a general term
Generic.
Right,
for
right.
each project, yeah.
And then approved by the city council.
Mm-hmm.
A section is established based on stakeholders and some examples, and approved by the city council.
So just stakeholders, or are you going to divide
Well,
that?
the way I wrote it in the writing that I can't read. A selection community is established based on recommendations from stakeholders that includes the task force, the city manager's office, and other relevant community members, and approved by the city council.
Correct. Very
Perfect,
good.
Perfect.
So that would be another,
That's one, and then the same thing, each selected artist is paid for design development, currently $250 to be determined by, no, take out the $250.
Yeah.
To be determined by size of project and budget.
yeah, I said based on the budget and other considerations.
Okay.
'Cause it-
Like it.
And Jenny, if you want me to, at the end of the meeting, say those again or something, if there's anything you need me to repeat those, because they sort of went like this with them,
Oh, I'm good.
you're good?
Is everything recorded in the video? And unless you guys want to make this into a formal motion, it can just be the board agreed on this.
Doesn't have to be a formal motion.
We don't need a
You
formal
guys-
motion?
Don't we need to have
think it's
a
up
I'll
to
motion?
take your
Wording.
wording.
Because
I need the detail.
So we can change it.
Oh, okay.
And Jenny listened to all of us.
Okay, agenda number 4. Develop guidelines for community input into public art projects. And this is what was used for Winter's Way. Yeah. So this is brand new as well.
And it worked very well. Did you see anything that could be tweaked, Joan?
I felt like we had a lot of points of where people could insert their opinions and were asked, and we got very good responses, so, several hundred responses every time we asked. When we asked what kind of art they'd like to see, I think we could do a better job at trying to describe different kinds of public art, you know, whether it's a mural or, when we got into things like interactive. That was
Interactive
the word
was-
that
yeah.
really kind of threw people. And we tried to have examples, but everybody interprets it differently.
Right.
So that would be the one thing I think, just in terms of the process. But how we got people engaged and when we got them engaged, it seemed to be, it built on
Right.
what we were doing, and I felt like it accomplished what we wanted to do, which was to make people feel that some ownership of the project, and that was important.
Yeah, I agree. And when you looked at the survey answers and the percentage of who answered this way and the percentage, they incorporated it all into it. They basically listened to the community and incorporated it into the piece. So that was good. That was one of the reasons why that piece was chosen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I just reflecting back on when they presented, I remember them talking about going out to the site and talking to people at the sports complex. And I think that really was a deciding factor for many of the selection committee members, because, well, that indicated to me the level of interest and the level of involvement that they really had with the community. So, yeah, I think that was important.
I love that all the residents are invited to attend the ribbon cutting. It's a nice touch, right?
It is.
And we actually had a fair number. It was a horrible day when we did the ribbon cutting. It was just one of those cold, dreary, is it going to rain kind of days. And yet we still had a nice turnout for the ribbon cutting, which was really good.
So is there any other ideas, questions?
You guys did a
It
wonderful job.
Yep, it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. Do we need a motion to approve this? No?
I don't think so. Do we need a motion to approve this?
I think it would be appropriate
I
for
would
you to
like-
say
yeah.
that you
Yeah.
approved
I would
it.
like a motion.
I'll second.
All
So-
in favor?
Aye.
So it's
Okay.
both though, right? It's a motion to approve the
Well, the first one, yeah, with the
procedures.
tweaks, with the tweaks.
With the tweaks.
Yeah, I think we should do both because we
Yeah.
have to take it to the city council. It
Okay,
should be
okay.
approved, yeah.
So yes. So your motion is to accept the donation portion with the tweaks?
Yes.
Or with the revisions, tweaks, I guess isn't,
The procedures.
Yeah.
procedures, because that's not the right word.
And also the
And
artist
also the
selection.
artist selection as is, right.
I'm sorry.
Artist selection procedures and the guidelines for community input with the tweaks that the board agreed were good.
Got it?
I'm confused. So we already approved the procedures for donations to go.
But we
forward
didn't
with
make a
those.
motion
We
and
did
make
that.
it
Yeah, we did a
official.
motion on that one. We didn't do it on the next
So
one.
Oh.
this motion,
So this motion is just on the artist selection then?
Artist selection.
The artist
yeah.
selection and the community input guidelines.
Oh,
So
Okay.
this one and the next one.
gotcha.
So the artist selection with the two tweaks, which would be about the artist fee and the
Right.
addition of the selection committee, how the selection committee is established. And then the guidelines without any changes. So that's
Correct.
the motion.
And I second.
So Erica, you want a motion for the second one, for the artist selection? You
Yes,
want-
I can
Okay.
make a motion to approve with the tweaks.
Okay.
I think Barbara was just saying.
She put them both in one. We don't have to have three separate motions. We can have one motion. We had one motion for agenda item number 2, and we just did another motion for item number 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I have a motion and a second to approve both 2 and 3.
Yes.
It's best to do them separately, but.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm saying, yeah.
So you want to be the motioner, Erica?
Eric, on number 2, yeah.
Number
Number-
2, yeah, so motion to approve item number 3
Yes.
with 2 tweaks.
Yes, exactly.
I second.
You second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No?
Well, we all get along.
Yeah. All right, so that's item 4.
We need the guidelines, we need a motion to guidelines for community engagement. right?
I thought,
Yes, she's saying, yes, we do.
Yeah.
I thought we did already.
No,
We started
No,
over.
we did,
So
yeah, we're starting again.
you want to go ahead and do that one?
I'll make a motion to approve the guidelines for community engagement.
Okay, and I'll
Okay.
'Cause I
second,
want my name in
I'll
the minutes.
second that
Talking like that.
I love it.
And who's going to second it?
I'll second
I
it.
know, I have
Okay.
the worst sense of humor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Wonderful.
now we're
All
up
three
to,
of those motions have been approved.
Okay, got it.
Very good.
I love this.
Okay, now we're coming up to the proclamation and plans for Arts Week. And unfortunately, our teacher isn't here. She's the one that wanted that. But I believe October is the month that want to have the Arts Week.
Well, let me go through a couple of things. The second meeting in September is September 16th, which would be, normally you would have a proclamation. Let me backtrack. The first meeting in October, if we wanted to use the proclamation, is October the 7th. It's the night, which is fine with me. It's the day before I leave on another trip. All right, so I won't then be around for like 10 days. But that doesn't mean everything can't be in place. So we could do it at the first meeting in October on the 7th, or if we didn't do it then, and there's the added advantage, if we designate October, the new magazine can have a whole page devoted to art and what we want to do and how we want to celebrate the arts. So it probably makes sense to do that. I've started gathering some samples of different proclamations from the arts. I've gleaned some information from the American for the Arts and some of the things that came out of the conference that Creative Pinellas, you did that nice fact sheet. I think we can incorporate some of those things. And what I'd like to do is to try and put together some draft, send it out to you all for comment and to say, what important things did I miss? What's overkill? And like I said, I am not sensitive at all about people editing my work. I love to get input. So please feel free to do that. So if we did the proclamation, I've already contacted our facilities people are building for me because we wanted to have something to engage people. And they're making these large, I don't know how to describe it, like a frame that has chicken wire on it. And I have all kinds of ribbons and yarns and stuff for people. We're gonna put one at the library, because we had a lot of traffic at the library, and one at City Hall, and possibly one at the rec center, so that people can pull out of this basket and start weaving. And my vision for it is I'm going to coordinate the colors so that it's not a total jumble of, so one might be shades of blues and greens and stuff like that, and some others are pinks and purples and blues and whatever. But that people feel that they're participating in something. And then we thought we would get Parks and Recreation. They have some art classes, so maybe they'd have a feature sometime during that month. There's the Art with Friends that they do at the senior center, so have some kind of a special thing there. The other thing I was thinking that we could do is the chamber has been sponsoring this Saturday market, and it might be possible that they could set aside a tent and local artists could bring their stuff. I think that would be a great way to promote, art in the community. So, and none of those require a whole lot of work because we don't have a long time, but we can build from that. And then each year maybe add some activity. I mean, with the idea, I think this group the last time talked about having an art festival at some point where we really, but this might plant the seeds for it. So those are some of the ideas that I've been kicking around, and you all probably have some other ideas, but for a starter, this might be the way to go.
I think Judith recommended October as well. She
Yeah.
felt it would be more
And that's also
appropriate.
when we have the children's art exhibit, which always gets a bazillion people into City Hall to see the art
Yeah,
that the kids
yeah.
have
That,
done.
that's in October as well?
Yeah, actually, the opening reception is September 30th,
Okay.
but, yeah, and it'll be up the entire month of October.
And also, the chamber does Oktoberfest in October.
Yes.
And they're, I'm friends with I can get, I can put the ask in for this.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, at Oktoberfest, think of how many people go to that. Hundreds of people go to that. If we could have one section, like maybe one big tent where we could, but then we'd have to invite some artists to bring their things. And a lot of times, those kind of festivals are tough for small vendors because they have to pay for the liability insurance, they have to pay the rental space on the tent, and artists don't make a lot of money, not small artists. So if we could get them to possibly, help us, I can put that ask in.
Company area,
Yeah.
that'd be wonderful.
That'd be great.
That'd be wonderful.
So proclamation then on the 7th, you said, that's the city?
Well, that probably makes the most sense. It's not, it's so far, if we do it in September, like the 16th, people forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's for October. So there, and the council only does them at their meeting, so the first meeting is the 7th. So, if you all are okay with that, I'll see if we
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
that on
the
the
7th
agenda
and the
then.
21st, the 21st would be too late. So yeah, October 7th would be perfect.
So do we need a motion for that?
Yeah, I think, why not?
Why not? You wanted,
Who wants to
Now,
do the
are
motion?
we going to add to it, though, or what are we going to put all of these ideas that we've been talking about?
well, all of them except, with the exception of the ask of the chamber, we can implement because we control, we control that, so that part is fine. And just, we can have regular messages in the social media that goes out, that this is Arts Month in Oldsmar, and just kind of reminding people, take a look at the things that we have around, there's a variety of messaging that we can do, so.
But does that have to be part of the proclamation as well?
No, doesn't necessarily.
Doesn't.
No,
So all we need to
basically,
do is-
what a proclamation, for those of you who may not be familiar with, it says, whereas, for example, arts contribute to the vitality of a community, and whereas, it's good for children to be exposed to art, and whereas, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, I, so-and-so, the mayor, proclaim October as Arts Month and invite everyone in Oldsmar to celebrate the arts, in
Yes.
the various activities and blah, blah, blah. But we don't have to say all the things that we're gonna do. I
Right,
mean,
right.
yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to have your proclamation drawn up and us to review it, to
Okay.
have the proclamation to be submitted to the city council and hopefully read at the October 7th city council meeting.
And it would be great if any of the members,
All
of
of us,
of the board could be there
Yeah.
for the proclamation. That is always impactful, I
fun.
think. Yeah.
So that's my motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any against? No, it's motion approved. All right,
I want to hear about this next one since I wasn't on it.
yeah. So the tour of the public art in Oldsmar. That was fabulous. I thought it was fabulous. Everybody that was on the tour had a great time. We saw all of the public works, which is nice to see them all in 2 hours, 2 or 3
Yeah.
hours. Yeah. And along the way, we saw all of the areas that have possibilities for future art. And we also saw the art that needs to be maintained.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. We
Yeah.
have an agenda item
That's,
for
yeah,
that. That's the next,
coming
okay.
up, yeah.
Um,
But I thought it was great. Arts and Recreation did a super job with the
They did.
van
Oh.
and taking us around.
Chip
That
drove
was
the van
nice.
for
Chip
us.
did it?
Yeah, it was great.
So I'm curious, did you guys all go?
Yes.
All of you guys went? Okay, so I'm curious as to what you guys think are good spots for our new art whenever we get it in a couple years, probably. What were your favorite spots? Did
I don't know
anybody?
that we were like, this is where we would want to put a piece of art. It was more
Somebody had a
like,
favorite?
here's big medians that we could
Yeah.
use. Here's
Okay.
space that's up in the park that we could use. So there was just more of a,
general.
here's some, keep these in mind, and then I think it would depend on what the art piece
Right,
was.
right.
Where
Okay.
you'd want to put it. Is it like too big for a median? Should it be in a park or that type of thing? But it was nice, I think, for everyone to see, like, what is it, Lafayette and stuff, where they have the much wider
The
medians
boulevards,
than a lot of,
Lafayette, Park,
Yeah.
Bayview, and
Yeah.
Oakwood.
Right.
have those extra large center
Yeah.
medians, and then to see them in person and understand. And then like in the parks, like where we have some of the little metal children's sculptures and stuff, to see like what's already there in the
Right.
parks.
Right, right.
And also, I think to see some walls that the city may be able to influence for art, that was kind of cool too. Yeah. And then we saw an exercise machine that I mistook for public art sculpture.
In Veterans Park?
Well, right
Rec
behind the
Oh,
recreation
at the
center.
No, Which one?
It was blue enamel, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was it one of the,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
it was part of that, it was part of
oh my
those
God,
things
that
look like,
exercise,
yeah.
that exercise trail is awesome.
That
I
is.
miss living in Oldsmar.
Great. And we unfortunately couldn't really find any, we've always wanted to see if we could put something at the entrance, to Oldsmar.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, except for the, possibly the flea market, I can't see,
Yeah.
can't see
It-
any other
when
ones
you- when
because
you're-
they're not.
When you're
they're
dealing with
not our
Because they're
roads
roads.
not
that are
our
controlled
roads.
by
Our
the
roads.
Florida
Yeah, they're
Department
state
of
roads.
Transportation, you're dealing with so much regulation. And in fact, just as an interesting aside, just this week, I received a notice from the Association of Public Art Administrators. I guess there was legislation that was just approved that said all of these intersections.
Yeah.
No more. It needs to be removed.
Yeah,
So-
did that pass? So
Yeah.
does that mean
That
that
was-
all those beautiful ones in St. Pete have to be painted over, Barbara, or is it,
I don't
are they
know, I don't know if
grandfathered
they have
in?
to paint over or,
I don't think they're grandfathered in.
Wow. I
but there
read that
certainly
and I
aren't
was-
going to be any new ones, that's for darn sure. And when those fail, they'll
Right.
be
Well,
back
they
to-
won't be in medians, but they can still be in, like, we have one in Sheffield Park. They can still be on our property.
Oh,
The
yes,
city
yeah.
property, but not
But
in
anything
not
that
in the
that interferes
crosswalk
with
ones.
regular traffic intersections is out,
Done.
is
Yeah.
out. So that was kind of an interesting development.
Yeah, and I think it was made in the meeting last week, someone suggested that we do another tour at some point to actually prioritize the sites.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's too early for us to do that
Yeah,
at this point in
yeah.
time.
And the good news with the flea market site is Grady has already agreed that he wants public, because he's put proposals before us for like the City Hall property. He was one of the developers that gave us a proposal for that. And then, so he's been involved, and every time we asked, are you willing to, he always said yes. So if and when he does anything with his 20 acres there at Racetrack in Tampa, there'll be a piece of public art. I'm pretty sure Grady would keep to that. As long as he doesn't sell it to somebody else that doesn't like art. I guess that could happen.
Is there any other plans? Do we know of anything?
No, not that I know of. No, not that I know of, yeah. So,
I
but,
liked on the tour seeing all of the bronze sculptures too, because I know some of them we thought maybe they could be better in a different spot. So
Right.
utilizing the pieces we already have and maybe giving them a better spotlight. 'Cause I know the one by the library, it has the bushes and stuff. It kind of hides it, or the one,
Right.
in Lafayette with the tanks, the one that's like way up high.
on the tank,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't really see it either, so I think
It
that's
would,
good
it
to
would,
see
it
those.
might be, you all could make some recommendations for those two in particular. The little girl should not go back up on those water towers. You can't see her at all. That's just,
very
so,
lonely, yeah.
It was a surprise to me. I went on a wild goose chase one time trying to find out where everything was, and I kept saying, it says that there's something in this park, but I can't find it, and that was the first time I honestly saw her up close and personal.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
That was.
And you
that
said
was-
they have removed her?
Pardon me?
Have they removed her from the
Yes,
tank?
yeah, she's the one I'm doing the test renovation on over at the Municipal Services Complex, so.
yeah, that's a great idea.
She's already
Move her
moved.
somewhere
Yeah.
more visible that doesn't have something.
Yeah. Now, do we have any site in mind for her?
I don't know, do we?
Is there anything at the Cypress Rec Center?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is.
There's a bronze
Yes.
there.
There's a
in the
bronze
front.
there.
Yeah.
We got
It's
one
right
on
at the
Park.
entrance
Entrance.
doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got one here, we got them at RE Olds, we got the mural at RE Olds, we got a mural at Sheffield,
There's no.
Mobley Bayou.
There's nothing at Sheffield. for
There's no
bronze.
sculpture at
There's no
There's
there's no
just,
sculpture, that's true, maybe,
ground.
but, you know, because people go there to play disc golf and everything, yeah, maybe move her
And here
there.
along the trail, I
Yeah.
think any of those spots might be nice.
There's the
Yeah.
playground. We
Yeah.
could put it somewhere close to the
That'd be a good
playground.
idea,
Yeah.
because it's a little
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
maybe that's a,
Could we
the
make
trail.
that recommendation to whoever
Possibility.
That you put,
is in
that,
charge
that be moved to someplace on on one of the trails? Is
in
that-
Sheffield Park?
Sheffield
Oh, in
Park.
Sheffield Park.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
because there's the
Near the
little, there's the
playground.
mural, but
Playground.
there's no statues.
What?
Because there's one at the dog, there's one at, well, we call it Sellers Park, even though that's not the name of it. When you go Oakwood to Shore, that little park, there's that one that actually is an homage to Jerry Beaverland's granddaughter that got killed.
Oh, where the ballerina is?
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that, but, yeah. So there's one there, RE Olds. Yeah, so Sheffield, I think,
Doesn't have one.
doesn't have,
No.
yeah. So if you could, I guess that would be something that you would do, Joan, ask if we could move it?
Oh, yeah, I think if you make a recommendation, I think that would be fine to recommend that
Do
it
you
be
like that idea?
reinstalled at Sheffield
They would have
Park.
to make a base and lights.
Yeah,
and-
well, they can use solar, I mean, that part
Yeah,
is fine, and,
right.
and the base is the only thing, and that's not a huge sculpture, so it won't require a lot.
And then do we need to make a motion to clean the shrubs at the library or move her?
That's gonna come later under the maintenance program. Yeah,
Cleaning but not moving.
The one, she's,
Right, if we were to
you
move
either
her,
have to move the vegetation or move her.
or move this, right, like, so moving the vegetation is probably maintenance, but moving the sculpture would be something else, wouldn't it?
I did talk with the director, well, I talked with Chip, the director of Parks and Recreation, I said, at the minimum, what we need to do there is get some lights on it and cut back the vegetation, and they're fine with that.
Oh, okay,
It's
good.
an
Easy then.
appropriate sculpture for that location.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
perfect,
right.
yeah.
that's not one of the ones we wanted to move, though, is it?
No, I think, well, the
No,
only one we
the one on-
talked for
Yeah,
sure
the one
about
on
moving
top.
was the one on top of the water tower.
And that's easy to move because it's already down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is
that's-
that the only one we discussed moving?
I think we
that-
just
that's
considered
all I
this one,
recall.
but I think if we trim it, that'll be a lot easier
Yeah.
Agreed.
for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to have a motion there? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't have to have a motion for everything.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to new business. And this is where we come into not only developing a maintenance plan, but actually prioritizing, which art needs quick attention.
And you guys did that list when you went around?
Yeah.
I just have a question, and Joan, so we have that 30,000, and we know we're not gonna spend that whole 30,000 probably this year. But that 30,000 has to cover the maintenance, right?
Has to
The-
cover- Yeah,
Any maintenance we
yes,
do has to come
that's the
from that.
first priority that the city manager has, is to maintain what we have.
So then, if, let's say we spend $10,000 this year on maintenance, does that 30, then we only roll over for next year's budget to 20,000, or we would get?
Every budget year is a brand-new budget year.
Okay.
It isn't automatically rolled over.
Right.
The only time something is automatically rolled over is like your mid-project. Sometimes things take longer than, in fact, they always take longer than you think they're
Right.
going to take. So you end up, we had to do that with the sports complex thing. We had to roll over part of the money into the next budget year. But it's not an automatic. So if we can get maintenance taken care of in this year, I know that's a priority that the city manager has, because it's also a good way to demonstrate that we care about the art we have and we want to add to it. But if we're not taking care of what we already have, that doesn't send
Right.
a particularly strong message.
So if I were, the takeaway for me is, yes, go ahead and spend that $30,000 on maintenance this year.
If it requires that much,
I think
then,
that's what
I
the
would
city
say if it
wants.
requires that much, because I can tell you that the current city council that we have right now, all 5 of them are art lovers. All 5 of them I would think that they would roll it over if, say, we had $10,000 left. They're not gonna take that away from us.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Right, I
So
gotcha.
I wouldn't have, yeah.
I think the big decision or the big recommendation that I know that the city manager would really like to see and the city council needs is what to do about the condition of the murals on those water tanks.
Wilderness reflections.
So if you all discuss that and make a recommendation.
Well, we basically came up with 3 arts, wilderness reflections, the bronze sculptures, and the native balance. Those are the 3 that we felt needed the most immediate attention in terms of maintenance.
Okay, so the water towers, native balance, the butterflies, right?
Yeah,
And
and the
The
bronze
bronze.
the
sculptures.
bronze sculptures.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
got it.
Yeah.
I also think those little marbles sculptures in the,
With the library and
Library?
that little nook thing
they
that's
need
You mean in
some-
the children's nook or?
in the
or no?
nook that
It's
is
like
not
the
air
little
conditioned.
Outdoor porch thing.
Oh,
Fancy
yeah, but that
clothes.
might be a new project. Yeah.
I did speak with the library director. I mentioned that we had all talked about, and I think we can do whatever we want with those. I don't think she really, ideally, I said, I think that ought to be made into an area that's A, air conditioned, and B, available for, either meeting space or rental space or, event space. It's really a charming little area. I don't think the library has a lot of interest in it, but I think if this group wanted to take that on and make some recommendations about what happens there, that would be great. But yeah, in the meantime, those are so tucked away,
Yeah.
nobody even knows they exist.
And yeah, so I would want to just talk about maintenance for those as well.
Okay.
You're talking about the room, right?
No,
No, there are 2
little
marble,
sculptures
yeah.
in
they're
there.
like covered in dust and
Oh, yeah,
then
okay.
there's a pot.
With
an
dead plant.
Yeah.
With a dead plant in it that had the artist's name on it. Yeah. So and what are we calling the water towers?
Those are wilderness reflections.
Wilderness reflections, okay.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I
that's
can-
the big issue, because wilderness reflections is the one that's gonna cost the most money.
All right, yes.
And there's various options that have been thrown out, okay? One is to do away with the whole thing, just have them take the towers out. The other one is to paint them over and then just wait and see if we could come up with some funding, some external funding, so that we can do a new project there, a new mural. And then the third option is to, invite an artist in to,
Repaint
redo
it.
those or
Yeah,
repaint
but
those.
an artist isn't gonna do it for free, so it would have
No.
to be into another, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
What I wanted to ask you, Joan, is if we do option 1 and just get rid of it, does that come under our budget, or would that be handled by
I think if you make the recommendation, to demolish to take them, I think that then becomes somebody else's project. It becomes a public works issue or, I think the big thing is for this group, from an artistic standpoint, is to decide, do we want to keep them as a venue for future murals? Because I think the only reason that they weren't torn down before was they just ran out of money on the project on the
Yeah.
water treatment.
Yeah.
Or do we want to really spend money, in which case $30,000 isn't even going to come close to hiring. When you
It'll take
consider the
2 to 3
size
years
of
of
those,
budget,
and there's
yeah.
three tanks, that's
Yeah.
Not
going to
gonna
be
happen.
$100,000.
It was more than 30 for the murals at Oriole.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we recommend they be painted a clean slate, again, that becomes Public Works or someone's problem.
If we just say, if this group says, we are not interested in touching up or renovating the current murals, we think they've, lived a long life and been enjoyed for many years, but like all things, their time has come to be retired, or something diplomatic like that, I don't know.
It's like a proclamation.
Whereas.
Whereas they have lived their life and served the community at the
In
highest
service to
level.
the city of Oldsmar, yes.
And we couldn't even do what they did in the beginning. There's way too much liability to have it be a community project again.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
one person falls down and gets hurt and they're sued the city. So it's not, we couldn't do the same thing.
Probably not, no,
No.
no. Very-
Now, but do we want to get rid of the tanks?
Yes.
That's the first question.
Are you talking about painting over the murals or
Yeah,
getting
just-
rid of the whole
Demolishing the
tank?
tanks.
No, there's
Okay.
Are
three
they
things.
that- are
Either
they that bad
demolishing
looking?
them and
I think you could
Do they look
recommend,
that
I think you
bad?
could recommend demolishing them, because it's in a park, it becomes parkland, and you can make it into, so you could recommend that, but we don't have the funding, and we won't be the final say on that. You could also recommend that, given the deteriorated state of the current murals, we recommend that they just get a fresh
Paint
coat
it
of
over.
paint if they can't tear them down, and at some future point, you would do something. Those would, and then I would say that this group, if this is how you feel, should recommend against
Painting it over.
just bringing in an artist to bring them back to life
Right.
as they currently. I
Yes.
think those are really the kind of the recommendations that this group could make, depending upon what.
Yeah, I think the
how you
towers are
feel.
just too dilapidated at this point to even put money into having someone paint them a mural on them.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, and I think maybe the hurricanes have exacerbated the condition that they were in prior, but they're in bad shape.
If we were to just paint them over, I don't know what use they would be if they're just standing there with no RO. I feel like the use for them now is to have the murals on them, right?
Yeah, well, the
So
idea of painting over is that at some future date,
Right, but
we'll have
I don't
someone come
know.
in and do it, but is that
Right.
realistic?
Have someone, just
I don't
have
think
someone
so.
come in and, when you
Do
say
a
do
new
it, do you mean
mural
do a new
later on.
mural or
Yeah,
demolish?
do a new mural.
Well, see, it's so interesting. Sometimes people make decisions and do things that in the moment are so creative and good, but 20 years later, they're not serving a
Yeah.
purpose. And I think that is what happened. As you said, they ran out of money, you believe they ran out of money to demolish them, and they're like, what can we do to tide us over? And now 20 years later, would you invest more money on something that 20 years ago was a tide you over? And I think I think people would actually like it better. I think the community of Oldsmar would like it better if that turned back to parkland. Yeah. So I don't think we're
And I
serving.
think the city
If we
council,
present it diplomatically, because I think people like to climb them and have the view, but we have the
The
zip
zip
lines
line,
now
yeah.
if they want a view.
Yeah, but you gotta pay for those.
But, I mean, there's an alternative there now if you want
True.
a higher up view.
True.
Yes, exactly.
And I wasn't on the tour, so I didn't see how dilapidated they were, so
They're bad.
I'm gonna leave it up to y'all.
Yeah.
I think the city council would be very appreciative of a strong recommendation.
Yeah.
Because it would come from this group, which is representative of the community, representative of the arts community, because there will be people who will come out screaming. There always are, no matter what you do, there's always some very vocal person who, I worked on that and I painted, there's a lot of love and investment in those kind of things. So I think that it would give them some cover.
Yeah.
And can we?
So
I
we're
think we
converging on option one then,
Yeah.
to strongly recommend
had
that. the-
Option 1 or 2, that they
I would say
remove or
one.
at least clean paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we're gonna have to just
Remove
give them
or
one.
repaint.
Yeah.
Just give them one, and if they say, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what else could we possibly do?
Mhm.
Then we can. One thing though is, do we want to say that we could get a videographer out there?
That's what I was just gonna say, we had
And-
talked about like documenting it somehow.
And you could almost make at this day and age, you could make a a virtual reality of and someone could do.
That's
the-
a good idea.
and walk around and
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I
That it
don't
would
know
be
what that
preserved for
costs,
history.
but, you know.
Of us destroying art?
No, not
bit
the,
now,
not
a
a
bit
video
now.
of destroying it.
Video of the
Someone's gonna say that.
Video of the history of it.
And do you know if there's any pictures around from when it was first painted?
I'm sure they exist
Suda might have
somewhere.
some.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure
showed
that
us.
they
Yeah.
must exist. I'd have to dig around and go into the, the archives.
That if,
of-
if we do this project to save it historically, that we have, because it's in bad shape. So, I mean, even if we do the video pictures of it, it still doesn't look like what it,
No.
Right, we
Once
could
on.
add the stills to the videos.
yeah.
Yeah.
We could have a going away party. Recommend destroying it, but we recommend having the community come out, people could sign it or put,
Put their
do
name on it.
something.
Nice.
Yeah,
Not bad. Even during Arts Week,
Goodbye.
maybe.
Yeah. No, not during Arts Week. Say goodbye to the water tower.
Not destroying art during Arts Week, please.
Yeah, Arts Week. But we
Oh,
could,
this is a creative.
that would be a headline. City of Oldsmar, very first ever Public Arts Proclamation Month, and they are destroying our. That would
Party
be
to
terrible.
destroy. Oh, that's
So
great.
if we do recommend option one, which is to get rid of it,
Mm-hmm.
then it's out of our hands. It doesn't come out of our budget, doesn't come out of anything. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that makes the most
And
sense.
I think, just some text basically that accompanies that said, we've considered the condition and we've considered the age of the project. And like many outdoor installations of similar size, they have a useful life. And there has been no maintenance done on that in the 20-something years that it's been there. So it really puts it in and then we're done with it, cross it off the list. If they decide, put a fresh coat of paint until they can destroy it,
That's up
that's
to
one
them.
thing.
That's up to them.
That's up
Right.
to them,
Yeah, and
yeah.
see.
And
Yeah, but does that come out of the city of Oldsmar's budget,
Not if they
What?
destroy it.
the destroying?
Oh,
Fresh coat of
sure.
paint, no.
Oh, ultimately, yes, so, but
Not
the
our budget.
city
Not
will-
our
city.
budget, the
No,
city's
no,
budget,
Yeah,
yes.
the city's
Yeah,
budget.
the city's will, be responsible for demolition.
Okay, good.
I love that. I think that's a really good work.
So this one we
do
do
that.
need a motion for, so does somebody want to make that motion?
Yes, yes.
I don't know if the chair can make motions, can the chair?
No, I
make
can't make it.
I'm not,
I'll
Craig's
make
not making, I've lived in Oldsmar and I know people that painted it. I ain't making the motion.
I'll make it, I'm a resident.
Okay, yay, Ray, that's the perfect person to
Yes.
make it.
All right.
Okay.
That's a lot to say there. So make a motion to the city council to remove the water towers because of the condition of, one, the water towers, and two, the mural that is there, that there's not a reasonable expectation of restoring those with a reasonable budget.
And then also, can we add to the motion the historical, we'd also like to.
Oh, some documentation.
Yes, some kind of documentation so that it can be in our art history of Oldsmar.
Yes,
We can add that to the motion,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah, I'm adding that to the motion.
I think that, actually, I don't even know that has to be part of the I think what the council wants is or the city manager to the council, a recommendation of what to do with them.
Right.
Period. We can do that, the other, on our own.
Yeah, but
I
less
don't think
people
there's
will
any-
come out and scream if we add we'd also like to see historical
Yeah,
documentation.
we can put that in the memo to the
Okay,
council so
okay.
that it becomes,
Okay, good.
but I think as a motion,
Motion doesn't
make
need
it,
that
si-
full.
make it simple.
and
The motion is taken down.
Right. They've outlived their useful value,
Yeah, we're gonna have to make this very strong,
Yes,
for the mayor, so let's put this
Yes.
together correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll work on the language.
perfect.
Okay, we have a motion. Who's the second?
I'll second. Two residents.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Nay. Okay,
Oh,
motion
man.
approved.
Okay, so the next one would be what, native
Well,
balance?
so we still have to decide, so we're gonna go with the bronze figures, as well as the butterflies.
Okay, which one do you want to talk about first?
Native bound.
Let's start with the bronze figures, I guess.
The bronze figures, okay.
So if you teach Public Works how to maintain them, then that's their budget?
The cost is so minimal.
Okay.
The cost is so minimal, I mean, and nobody's gonna, probably it'll come out of Parks budget,
So
I'm
our
guessing, because so
piece
many of,
is-
all we need to do is say, the next
The girl.
priority is to restore those, and we're gonna do those in-house. So essentially, that'll be taken care of.
So we can do the bronze, so that can be done in-house, so
Mm-hmm.
that's in-house, so that's not gonna come out of our budget, okay, good.
But that is a recommendation so
Yeah.
that the
So-
city has permission to do
Yeah.
that.
And so is the
Okay.
bronze thing all, like, do we do that all together? Like, we were going to maintain them, and then we're going to move the girl to Sheffield Park, and we want the library one cleaned up with lights on it, or all
Yeah,
one?
to address
Like,
them all.
this is how we want to handle the bronze?
Yeah, I think if you,
Yeah,
if those,
we want
yeah,
to clean
if
them
those are
all.
your
We want to
priorities.
move one of them.
I think the only one that we probably really need to spend money on is what we do with the what is it called? The one at
Sheffield?
Sheffield.
Native balance,
Native
well,
balance,
I
thank you.
have good news
Yeah.
there.
No, good.
I was assistant artist on that. I could touch it up.
You have the.
I have all the specs, I
All the
have,
specs
the
and the
only
paint.
thing is we did put a sealer on it, and let me think about it, because I'm gonna have to go, I have it all on my computer, what we used and everything else. You can't, a lot of times you can't put paint over, as long as the sealer has deteriorated enough, it can be touched up. How bad is it? I haven't seen it in a while.
It's not horrible.
No,
It's not
faded.
horrible, but
It's
some
just
of it is
faded.
the asphalt is cracking too.
Oh, that's Parks and Rec. The asphalt I can't fix.
But it's in the middle of the
The problem,
mural,
yeah.
so once
But if
it's
they fix
fixed,
the asphalt,
then the mural needs fixed where they fix.
right. I mean, I could touch it, we'd have to pay for all the materials.
Right.
I would have to have somebody, I would want somebody to help me because
I could help you.
I'm
Yeah.
old. And I like people to help me carry stuff. But if you could help me, we could do it,
Yeah.
as long as.
I say, yeah, I can help with that. I can help with the bronze sculptures too.
Yeah, I'd like to help with the
Whatever you
bronze
guys
sculptures
need.
too. If you could help me with native balance, I can touch up native balance, but the asphalt has to be done by the
Yeah.
city.
Well, that would
Which would need to
certainly
be done
free up
first.
money to do a
Yeah.
new project then.
yeah.
Do we know, though, if the city fixes the asphalt? Like, won't they
That's city.
cover?
They're gonna cover part of the mural, but I have pictures, I could show
Yeah,
you
so they
guys
would need to
pictures.
do that first.
Yeah,
I
I think
have-
the cracks, they just put
I have
that-
pictures of all
like,
of the
sealant.
original,
So
so,
if we had to do the whole thing again.
oh, no, I ain't doing the whole thing.
Well, but that's
Is
what
that
I was
that-
I'm telling you, the
wondering.
cracks go right down through the middle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not small cracks.
I need to go,
they're
look.
everywhere.
How big are the cracks?
Like San Andreas Fault in miniature.
Not that big, but I mean, they're
It's
noticeable.
the entire
They're not just
length
little,
of
like,
the
yeah.
trail, the entire width of the trail, which the butterflies take up almost the
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
So the one crack, I think it's a joint.
Yeah.
From where the trail, because the one trail goes this way and the other one meets it.
But
So
once they
it's a
fix the
joint.
asphalt,
So
though,
that
it's
entire joint is,
like how big like this?
It's
Do
like-
this.
it's
That-
really like
that's
that,
So
the
what it
entire
is,
way across.
the reason I use that analogy, and it was overdramatic, but they're not, it's, a normal crack, the surface will still be even, but you see a crack in it. These cracks, the surface has shifted a bit.
Okay, well then I suggest two different things, okay, two different possibilities, okay? Obviously, Parks and Rec or streets and whoever is gonna is gonna have to fill in the cracks with new asphalt, okay? Depending on how wide that has to be skimmed out is gonna determine how much has to be restored as far as the mural is concerned.
Right.
One, if it's not too much, I can do it. If it ends up being a lot, I can call Nicole Stillman, the artist, and we can pay her to do it. We can find out from her, get an estimate from her, how much will it cost to touch this up? Like, we could take a picture of it and, because I don't know if she's, she's local. The one that we did in Largo, she's not local. But Nicole, I'll call her if she's still local. And then we could use that money to pay her, some of the money in our budget to pay her. So it all depends on how much has to be done.
So could we make the first request to Public Works to go out and look at it and tell us what would it take to fix that joint and how much of the mural, like, would it be 10 inches of the mural that
Right.
they fix or
Right.
What, and could they give us an estimate? And then I think we could make a better decision about next step.
I could pursue that with, you know, the folks in parks and in facilities and
Yeah,
find
someone's gonna
out,
have to
get-
go there and
have-
hold their hand
Yeah,
and
because
tell
it's
them what
always
you
good to
want.
have somebody go with them, because engineers and
Right.
public works people tend to say, Art, let's just pave over it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that kind of
That's
thing.
why you need
So,
someone to
wait,
hold their hand, yeah,
To be
very much.
a little more gentle in the approach, I think, is
Yeah. Right,
probably.
We'll just say,
you know,
we want to try, we want to preserve it. and
we
we'll
wa-
touch
Yeah,
it.
right, preservation is
We
the
really
key.
want to preserve this beautiful piece of art, but
yeah.
we know that it has to be safe for the residents. So
Right.
what is it going to take to fill in?
Because if I just say, go out there and look at it, they're gonna say pave over it, I'm sure.
So I do have a question for the people who are expert in restoration. So if it's faded and they go to restore it, will the paint have two different colors and two different
Right,
tones?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
from
to-
being old to fresh, yeah.
so
So
you'll-
you would have to mix it to match.
Correct.
The dulled.
Correct, yeah,
The current color.
it can be done.
Very good, thank you.
So do you
And-
think that we might have to do the whole thing over again, or?
I'd have to go look at it. I wasn't on the tour, I haven't seen it in a while. I moved out of Oldsmar a couple years ago. So I'll go take a look at it. But,
Okay, because Joan's gonna take.
and I think
Parks
that it's
Rec
gonna
out.
be, I think that it's gonna be worth it to, even if she has to do another coat on the whole thing, it's not gonna be a lot of money. I
No.
think it'd be worth it because everybody loves that. People love that.
She's gonna have to put the sealant on again.
Yeah, and I can help her do all that again.
Yeah.
Now, you guys hadn't talked about the murals at Ariel's Park. They need to be washed and resealed. It's been 9 years.
And if you look, I think it's in your packet, the elements of a maintenance plan, that is something, that is a work that needs to be, what I did was I think you have it in your packet, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, assessment and inventory, well, we've already, we've talked about, we went out, we saw all the places, we need to document, do a condition report on each piece of art with detailed information, and then develop a treatment plan, that's, establish a maintenance schedule, and that is crucial, because there is not one piece of art in this city that has had any maintenance done on it, other than what you did, Linda, back in, 10 years ago? Is that?
Well,
when did-
what happened with Ariel's Park is the artist that we hired didn't do the sealer properly, so we
Right.
had to let her go. And my company, Providence Painting, ended up doing it.
Okay.
But it's been almost 10 years,
Yeah.
and sealer doesn't always last that long. So
Right.
it really needs to be
So we need to get,
maintained.
probably need to have everything cleaned
Yes,
across the board. Anything that's outside has to be cleaned. And then we need to develop a regular schedule for going out and making sure that happens. And
you
that's,
can't have somebody just go out there and plow through everything with a pressure washer. They gotta, know, we would have to talk to the
No,
people that are doing it.
and I think, Chris isn't here tonight, Christopher Hubbard, but I know that Chris, when I talked with him when he was still in Clearwater, he told me that many times he would actually go out with, with
Yeah,
a
I'll do
group to
it.
help clean, and, I don't mind doing that, and I
I
think there
don't
are
either.
volunteers who would be more gentle with things. I think that, is doable.
Yeah,
Some things can be, hosed off.
right.
That's fine, that's all it takes. You don't need a pressure washer, you don't want to strip it completely, but just somebody to kind of oversee what happens so that people don't get too exuberant in there.
So Joan, are you saying this element of maintenance of public, is this something that we should start working on?
Well, I think that should be an
Like-
outcome of
Like
this.
action plan, like
And-
start
yeah,
this.
An actual plan that, that is kind of a guideline that, if I get killed by a bus tomorrow, I could hand it to somebody, or the next person would have it and say, oh, okay, here's what needs to be done with,
Like the
the
bronze
public
sculptures
art.
get cleaned every year, the sealant put on
And
every 3 years
it
or
gets
whatever
scheduled,
it is.
it gets, yeah, it gets inspected, it gets scheduled for cleaning, the cleaning happens every so many years, it needs to be treated, but we need to, probably different pieces need different kinds of a plan. We have things from Lena and Gus on how they would maintain their piece. We have that from Don Gianella, how that would get done. So as we add things, that will be part of what we ask the artist to provide.
Yeah.
How should this be maintained,
Right.
you know, kind of thing, so.
So my question is, are there action items on this list that we have to go, that we as a task force should go out and do? Like, I'm sure you probably already have an inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so like, do we
I,
need a
I
committee
think
for
this was
this?
just to
Like, what?
provide, this was to provide an outline of some of
Oh,
the things
okay.
I think we need to do. And then, you know, I mean, I can start working on this and just bringing drafts to you to, you know, say, yep, that's what we.
would
that's
Okay,
what
that
we
would be
need.
awesome.
I love that, and this is really good. There is one thing I might want to add, and it's really based on the challenges that the city administrators have had, for example, with the water towers. Is to get from the artist or the installer or whoever it is, what is the natural life of this piece? And that sort of pre-made, that at the end of it, you know, its natural life will be evaluated, because you don't want to just make it black and white that it gets destroyed, because maybe it could still live, but that
Right.
you
Oh,
give
that's a
yourself,
great
you
suggestion.
give yourself a formal process activity so that you know, because I'm guessing, I hear just sort of undertone is some help with being able to say, it's over. You know, that this piece has lived its life.
Yeah.
And so if it's in the
Almost like, what
maintenance
is the
plan-
expectation as we install this piece?
Right.
At what point would we need to consider?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so like when we did the wraps, we were very clear with the county that they were generally available for 2 years. You might be able to stretch it out for 3. Now, some of them last longer, but
At least you plant that
once that
seed.
2-year
Yeah.
starts ticking, you don't have to go back to your art advisory committee and say, what do we do? Because it's in the,
Yeah.
so I think that would
That's a
be really
great
helpful to
idea.
add that. Otherwise,
Well,
I
and I
think
think it
this is-
also on the flip side, so like the Winter's Way piece, we have the how to maintain it, and we can say that we were told this would last 15 years, and with our maintenance, we took it to 20. So that we can say to people in the community, then, look how well we've spent the money. We maintained the piece and we had it live longer than it was expected to.
That would be great, too.
That's a good
So I think we want to be able to show that we're good custodians of.
And certainly on new projects, we should definitely require the artists, you know, to give us, you know, what they use paint-wise, how they recommend to maintain it, you know, what their expectation of the life is gonna be,
Yeah.
things like that. Okay, so getting back to this then, Joan, you're gonna start putting together.
I'll start drafting some things
Excellent.
for, you know, this group to review, and then we'll just, in little chunks, we'll get there, and eventually
Okay.
we'll have a whole plan.
Are you gonna cover all 7 areas, or?
Oh, eventually. Eventually,
Okay,
or at least make some recommendations, and, you know, then we can decide what to do.
And I
okay.
think if we get like the bronze sculptures, I think that's an easy, this is what the new maintenance plan will be for those.
Yeah.
And then some of the murals, we know they need cleaned and sealed. Like, I think we've got some low hanging fruit we could easily knock off and put in here. And then some of the bigger pieces like Winter's Way, it may take a little more because that's a little more involved sculpture.
Exactly.
To say this is what the maintenance plan will
Yeah.
be for this type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think if we start knocking some things off and showing,
Yeah.
Yeah, but City Hall's gonna want us to, you know, put down exactly what we've
Codify
done,
things, yes, so put it in a plan.
So that we can use some of the budget.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
we're gonna have to say, this is what we've done and this is what's gonna cost. And what we'd like to do is use the remainder for new art.
Do we want to also, before we leave the art that needs to be maintained, do we want to talk about that large picture, that large.
Oh,
the
we
one in
talked
Tico
about that,
Hall.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to my company about it. I think there is something we could do. It looks like that the research was from, I think you and I were talking about it. It looks like it's almost a print on paper. It's not an original. So it might be better to contact the company if they're around to get a new print, because restoring it, it looked like it had already been restored in the past. And I don't know if removing it, the previous restoration, redoing it will really prolong the life of it too much, rather than getting a new
A
copy.
new print of it. Okay, all right. Well, we can look into that.
But that's old, isn't it? I mean, how old is that print gonna be?
Even if there's like a digital copy of it that we could reprint, because we can do printing too, and then we could restretch it and reframe it. I think that would be better.
That'd be excellent.
Yeah,
That'd be fabulous,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a
That's the one that's in the
digital-
library, right?
Yes, it's like from
Tico Hall.
1918, 1920, somewhere in that time
Yeah.
period, yeah.
Yeah.
I did just the tiniest bit of research, and then I got all these other things, but there was a company, it's out of New York, and what they did was they created those for communities that were trying to get developed and attract buyers. So they were like the original real estate advertising.
Ah,
That's so cool.
So, they were, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Now, getting back to the maintenance plan, do we have to make a specific motion on this, or just,
Not yet, I think.
Just that
Not
we-
yet, because Joan's got work
yeah,
to
okay, so
do.
we don't have to do anything there, all right.
Unless you want to make a motion.
think that that's a
to move
priority.
that statue to Sheffield Park, I think that was kind of a
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
the,
concrete decision.
The one from the water tower
Yeah,
to
the
Sheffield
child.
Park. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to relocate the girl bronze statue previously located on the top of the water tower to an area possibly by the playground in Sheffield Park, right?
Good.
I second.
very good.
All in favor?
aye.
Good thinking.
You're good.
She reminded me.
We get things done.
That
right?
big
Yeah,
brain on
anybody,
Erica.
Not in favor? No? Okay, motion passed.
And then do we need to add anything about the library one, or is that, or that will just go in the maintenance?
Art map.
The library one,
the
does
one
that
in
need
Pico?
a motion, or will that one
I think so.
just be part of the maintenance plan to keep it clean, keep lights on it, and keep the hedges off of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll add that to maintenance.
This
plan.
is in our,
We got them the day of the,
I think it might also be in the packet. I don't know. It's okay. Art map.
So basically what we have coming out of our maintenance budget, okay, is native balance.
Possibly native
Native
balance.
balance.
Yeah.
Cleaning,
Yeah. and
all
what
of the works
supplies
that we
yeah,
can.
to clean the bronze statues.
okay? And are we gonna do anything else that's gonna come out of the maintenance budget?
I think that would be all we would need, is just the support.
So we're not gonna do anything on the picture yet?
Well, I think if we research for the picture, see if we can find a digital.
Yeah, and since we're not gonna meet again for 4 months, yeah, let's go ahead and can you take the lead on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And do we wanna do anything, well, that's not really maintenance, that'll be new project, for that room in the library,
Oh,
corner room in the library. Yeah.
At the very least,
we just need to,
part of the cleaning and.
it needs to
thing.
be cleaned, and those statues could be moved if we wanted them to have a more prominent place, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you need to do anything with that right now, because it's, nobody has
Okay,
any money to do anything there right now anyway.
Right.
okay, very good, so that puts that to bed. So that brings us to discussions of short, medium, and long-term public-private funding sources, strategies, and prioritization of the same. And I put together here a kind of a list of many of the vehicles people look at in terms of funding public art. And what I thought might be interesting is to go through the list and find out which ones take the most time to develop, okay, and what their viability is for a small town like Oldsmar. so that we can then concentrate on the ones that are going to give us the most immediate return for potential alternative funding. And my thought is that, you know, government grants, federal, state, and local, are going to be long-term. Those are things that are big projects, they're long-term. We don't know if they're going to materialize. We really can't count on them. Probably private foundations would come in the middle. Percent for art programs maybe come in the middle. Business improvement districts. What it comes down to, I think, is that corporate sponsorships, individual donors and patrons, and community fundraising events, possibly crowdfunding platforms, are the ones that are going to give us the most immediate return.
Well, and immediate return, do you mean like
In terms of generating funds.
right away?
No, I'm talking, you know, within 2 years.
Oh,
So,
2
yeah.
years, okay.
Yeah, something along those items. And from what I understand of our bylaws, we can't do any of this on our own. And so we would have to develop a plan, and then we'd have to take it to city council and have them approve it. So
Well,
if, in
I
other
think-
words, if we wanted to go out and say, listen, we want to go after corporate sponsorships or individual donors, okay? We'd have to put together a marketing plan, we'd have to
Yeah.
put together all of these things. But before that, we'd have to get approval from the city council to be able to just do it.
I think in most cities, projects like that require the formation of a 501c3. That's most fundraising. For example, like the theater group here, that's what, they have a Friends of the Arts, and they have their own 501c3, and they can do whatever they want. And you can form a 501c3 to support, you know, the arts. You can form a 501c3 to support sports. You can, you know, you can do that. It's just that the mandate of this particular group is not fundraising. This can be an offshoot. There may be people who are interested on this board in actually doing some of that. And that's really what I think what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, because I spoke to this about the lawyer, okay, and he said, any funding that we generate from the outside has to go to Oldsmar City, and then they earmark it to the public arts program.
That's if you don't have a 501c3.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said that might be the best vehicle to do it, rather than starting a 501.
That, I agree. I completely agree. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work. 501(c)(3) is a lot of work.
No, I know, it's tremendous work, and, you know, it has all
Right,
sorts of.
Barbara? We don't want to be a part of
legal
another one of
issues,
those,
yeah,
do we?
yeah. But that would require us, you know, putting together a proposal, going to city council and saying, this is what we think we need you to approve, so that we have enough funding at some point to be able to really do something with this art project.
So the
And,
one,
you know, and I think we have a lot of benefactors on the city council. They're not going to turn us down if it makes sense.
I think they would ask, though, who is going to do the work for this?
Or not, yeah, because city council's not going to want to do it. It would be us going out and
The work for what?
So
go
like,
to
the
make the
writing the
asks.
grant, or, you
Oh.
know, the outreach for a foundation, or, they might, I mean, business improvement districts is a different thing, but, you know, there has to be a staff person assigned to doing all that heavy lifting.
Mhm.
And I think they would ask us how.
How we're gonna do that,
How
yeah.
we might, yeah.
Well, so grants, that doesn't even fall under your job. Right. Do we even have a grant person in the city of Baltimore anymore? No? Have you ever applied for a grant?
I know it's hellish.
I have applied for grants. I've done, fund for the improvement of post-secondary education when I was at the university, and I've done, other grants, but I can tell you, that's a
Oh, it's a lot of
it's
work.
full-time
I
job.
applied for one with North Pinellas Cultural Alliance, and I think it was with Creative Pinellas. I think you guys were the grantees.
Yeah.
The grantor.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were the grantee.
Yeah.
And it's a long process and very detailed and a lot,
And ours was easy.
And yours was,
Yours,
oh
yeah.
my gosh. yours
Yeah,
was
oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so then private foundations, that would be going to making ask. Corporate sponsorships would be going to make the ask, individual donors and patrons. So this would pretty much require a full-time employee. But as Joan pointed out, that's not really our purview. So and if we show the city council and the city government that we care so much about our art, that we want to go out and make all the art that we already have beautiful, so that, everything is, maintained well, everything is beautiful for our residents, then they will be more inclined to approve the money that is asked. It's an ask every 2 years. And it was already it's already in, everybody knows that every 2 years, that's when we get our art money. If the budget allows, then it's going to be more of a yes than a no, I would think, of getting the money from, that's already talked about giving us.
We're never going to be guaranteed that money.
We're never going to be guaranteed it, but at least now it's in the budget, it's in a line item in the budget for every 2 years. Because we did.
30,000, doesn't that depend on?
We had more for RE Olds.
Doesn't that depend on what they get from the developers?
It's not,
No.
this isn't developer money, this is taxpayer dollars. This isn't developer money,
Out
that's
of the
separate.
regular city
that's
budget.
separate.
Yeah, this is for the arts. So we had 38 or 40 for RE Olds. I think we had 38 or 40 for Taking Flight. And now it's down to 30, so it's less now, but.
But we had an unusual year last year with two
With
hurricanes.
with all the hurricanes and everything, so, yeah. So my point is we take care of the art that we have, and we're more, I would be confident that we would get more money from the city council.
There's also, I know Oldsmar has a CRA, right?
Yes.
Well, it's expiring next year. It's expiring in 2026, and they are talking about, it's going to be an agenda item on the city council to see if they are going to reapply.
Okay, so sometimes CRA money says you can use it for facades. And sometimes, and no one I have ever run into with CRA money has a problem with like a mural being a facade. So we could look at something like that. Transportation Trust Fund, I don't know if you can get that at the city level. I'm just not that
I don't
expert in
know.
government, but
I don't know about that.
the county used Transportation Trust Fund for rights of way. Because Transportation Trust Fund does upkeep for rights of way. So we could dig into things that already exist that could be funding sources that really don't take a lot of administration for the city to shift. You know, like if they have a CRA, even though it's expiring, but I'll still use it as an example, and if they have the facade money, they could say, if you, business owner, want to do a mural on your side instead of, with that facade money, we will make that, we will allow that. And then
That's a good point.
we can help.
Yeah,
so
that's a
things
good
like
point,
that.
and since it's coming due to reapply for 2026, it might be something that we might want to ask,
Yeah.
to add facade money.
I didn't bring my umbrella in. It's going to be pouring.
The plants are getting watered.
What do they normally use that CRA?
CRA money is for a designated area of town, so it's like, it's to beautify and to help, like, say you live in the CRA and you want to paint your house, they'll help you with the money to paint. I don't know the exact, 'cause I didn't live in the CRA, so I never got to apply for anything, but it's basically for development, to help the development of that boundary district. Yeah.
So it's like a business improvement district.
Business and residential. There's residential in the CRA. Yeah. Okay.
So originally, what I was thinking of is that we could, to organize, we could develop some subcommittees within the board to go after certain areas of potential funding, because we have expertise across the board. We have people that have tremendous expertise with government grants. We have people that have expertise with corporate sponsorships, all different types of things.
Oh,
What?
Are we on generator power now? Something just went out.
Yeah,
All the monitors went out.
Are we on generator power?
I don't know.
Goodness.
Looks like it, maybe.
So now we can say whatever we want. Oh, they can still watch us. We'll have to do
Motion to
sign
adjourn.
language.
But anyway,
Okay, that
when,
could-
when I spoke to
Oh, there we go.
when I spoke to the lawyer, he said you cannot do subcommittees because of
right.
the sunshine law. But he said you can have an individual member of your board who has a specific expertise or strength in a certain area. You can make him the advocate for that area. He could do the research, he or she could do the research, he or she could do the fact finding, and then he or she could bring that information to the board for use in the future, for however, what they want to use it for. And the idea there was, again, to expand on alternate funding. I just don't see us being able to really progress and add a lot of art with just the money that's coming from the city government.
Well, we got a lot more than we had before. Well, I would think that you would be an awesome person to do that. I thought the he pronoun was perfect. Can I make a motion to designate you as that person? Would that be something that you would be interested
To
in?
do what?
Be the designated person to go out and look for alternate funding sources?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Do I
would
need to
that.
make a motion to do it, or is that just something that we just agree on?
Motion is good.
Yeah, I make a motion to appoint our
good.
distinguished chairperson
All right.
to head up, I don't know, you're better with words than me, Jenny, to be the person on the art task force that will explore alternative funding for the
Alternate source
arts
funding
in the
for-
city,
for
art
public art
projects,
in
for
Oldsmar.
public art in Oldsmar, yes.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Somebody's got to
You're
second
willing.
it. Somebody's got to second it.
I'll second.
Okay, don't leave me hanging, girls.
Yeah. Now, where I'm probably going to start on this, because, I don't have the expertise in the grant side. So I'm going to probably start on corporate sponsorships and, and individual donors, patrons, how we would go after those types of people in Oldsmar.
And take Barbara's idea, the CRA, since we're getting,
Yeah, the
see
CRA.
if we're gonna reapply, because ours expires in 2026, and if we do reapply, ask them to add a line item to that, because I
Yeah.
know there's certain things you can get money from to do. I don't know if facades is one of them.
Generally.
I mean,
But
I
you're right,
hope.
you can,
Make
whoever
sure
writes
that-
it.
Yeah, you could do the ask.
You may want to talk to probably Beth Daniels, the Clearwater Arts Alliance. They get corporate sponsors for their electric boxes,
They're beautiful.
and all they have to do is put a little sign just at the bottom that says, so-and-so.
You know what she's talking about, Michael?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
Okay, so
sorry.
you know the electric boxes that have art wrapped around them? Have you ever driven down like in Dunedin or anywhere else, and instead of a green
Yeah, okay.
ugly
okay.
box,
Right,
it's got
right,
like
right.
manatees or flowers or something like that
Right,
on it?
right.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about, and a corporate sponsor wouldn't mind that, because their name would be on the electrical
And
box.
they're not expensive, and
Yeah.
they're, pretty
They're
easy.
beautiful.
They're pretty easy to implement.
And that's Beth.
Beth Daniels, yeah, Beth Daniels.
Beth
Since I
Daniels.
can't talk to you offline, right, I have to give you her phone number here?
Yeah.
I'll see if I have it. She may not want me to have it recorded, I'll hand it to you. But the Clearwater Arts Alliance has done a lot of that sort of stuff.
And they are beautiful. And they're just wraps, they're not painted, they're vinyl wraps. You've seen them, right, Joan?
I know
You see
exactly what
America?
you're
They're
talking
pretty, aren't they?
Yeah. I just saw one on Curlew.
Curlew.
Over towards.
Yeah, Curlew
Palm
down
Harbor.
Tampa, yeah, I just saw
No,
that.
over in Palm Harbor.
Curlew, oh, that's the one I saw, yeah,
I think close to Belcher, maybe.
yeah, Belcher or.
Belcher or Sierra
Keene
One,
or
one of the-
Sierra One, yeah.
What about benches and that kind of stuff, painting benches?
Painting benches?
Yeah, they have the bus benches and stuff,
Oh.
or just benches that they put out there. Could we do anything
I don't know
art-wise
if
there?
we have any benches, do we have any city benches?
We have benches in the parks, but
But they're not the
They're
kind
not
that you can put
conducive
art
to
on. They're like
putting
the
art.
wrought iron with the slats. Well, Another thing that we were working on with the North Canals Cultural Alliance was the bus stops. You know, like possibly you could ask Walmart if they would sponsor art on the bus stop in front of Walmart, you know, and those are pretty cool.
But you would have to go to the, what, Department of the DOT to get permission.
I could get you I could get you, Deborah Kynes in Dunedin, she was the one that spearheaded that, and they did a couple of them in Dunedin, and they're gorgeous. Yeah, so I could get, remember? Yeah. I could get you the procedure on that.
Okay.
But Walmart would be the perfect person, the perfect corporation to, yeah.
Mr. Chair, we have a motion on the table, we need a vote.
I'm sorry?
We had a motion in the second.
Oh, yes.
but we didn't
Is
have a
it
vote
all in
yet.
favor of me spearheading?
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Double
Anybody not in
yes.
favor? Okay, motion approved.
Jenny's got to keep us straight.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to all right, 10 is pretty much what we've talked about too. Yeah, discussion, yeah, okay. Okay, that brings us to 11, okay, and these are, we've hit on some of these, but these are, you know, low-budget project ideas that we can do in the 25-26 budget year.
I think, yeah, a lot depends upon, you know, looking at the finances and knowing what we're gonna spend on maintenance. So it may be premature.
Yeah.
Because we'll have, in a few months, we're gonna have another meeting, and then we'll know a little bit better how some of these other things, you know, shake out.
Yeah, so we've got some action items to work on.
But it would be nice to be able to get some ideas. I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to throw out here. I was hoping that Judith was here, but she's not. One of the things that I thought we might be able to do, it's very low budget, maybe no budget at all, is to have the two elementary schools have the fifth graders do wall murals. So they would designate a wall within their elementary school. And the fifth graders would be responsible for prepping it and then actually doing a mural. And then every other year, the next fifth grade class comes in, you know, they wipe it down and do their own mural. And, you know, both of the elementary schools, I think the art teachers in those elementary schools would spearhead those projects happily. Yeah.
They did something similar to that when my son was at Oldsmar Elementary. It was a garden, one of the interior ones, and it was an after-school project, and I don't remember if it was the art teacher or one of the other teachers. They had to have a teacher be the sponsor for it, but I believe it was either Lowe's or Home Depot supplied all the mulch and the trees. The kids did the labor,
Yeah.
but they had, so to do that, like, I don't know if the local paint store here would supply the paint needed to do that corporate sponsorship piece. And then have the art teachers, if they would be willing to do the project, because typically they won't let you do it during school. It's going to have to be an after-school project.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the procedure there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the next step there is to talk to the two art teachers at both schools and see if that's something that would be of interest. I would think it would be, but, yeah.
Well, Judith hopefully will be watching this, so, and
Yeah.
then the other one, whoever's the teacher at the other one, you could probably contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
Law
I can,
violation
I don't
there.
think I can contact her out, no.
It's a good
I
idea,
could
though.
have Judith.
You could ask Judith, Judith, are
contact
you
them.
listening?
Yeah, yeah. The other thing that I thought about is that, you know, us being Oldsmar, I thought that maybe we can do like some very iconic Oldsmar plaques, you know, made out of bronze or aluminum of the old Oldsmar cars. Okay, and then we can either lottery them out to residential and commercial buildings, they can put them on their facade or something like that. Or maybe if they become really popular, individual people or corporates will pay for them to be put on. But I was gonna do some research into that. The only problem with that is that Oldsmobile is no longer an
Yeah,
entity. So
yeah.
we'd have to go through GM.
Only
or-
older people even know what an Oldsmobile is. The
Yeah.
newer generations don't even know.
No.
And the only thing about that is, it's been pointed out to me that that doesn't look like a car, that looks like a golf cart.
Everything old is new again. Everything old is new again.
Right, exactly. So.
But
Golf
Oldsmobile has some really beautiful, iconic cars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about going
Yeah.
that far back.
Yeah.
I'm talking
And the
about.
family at Branson,
Yeah.
Eli, oh, they come to the great grandsons and their families, they come to our festival every year, most
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like that idea of having something on the buildings, like iconic like that.
You know,
for
Dunedin has the
residential.
oranges
I
and
love the
stuff like
oranges.
Yeah, I
that.
think you
Yeah.
mentioned that before.
We
I would
saw,
love
when
to
we
have something
were
like that.
doing our studies, there was a group where up in North Carolina that had mice.
Mm-hmm.
Something like
Greenville.
that, yeah.
I think something iconic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are gonna, the thing about those, and I think why they generally are so amazing, is they're actually initiated by artists.
Mhm.
The oranges, I believe, I could be wrong about this, but they were sort of a guerrilla artwork for a while. A guy came by and.
Oh,
and
really?
I think so. I read it a long time ago, but it's definitely, the artist who paints the oranges. When it's an artist-based project, it has something different than when it comes from an institution saying, do this. So if we were going to do something like that, how I would recommend it is we would do a call for artists to develop something iconic about Oldsmar that we could then, mass produce and
Mhm.
people could make donations and get them. But we let the artists do it rather than we tell people what the artwork
Oh,
is.
so we'd have the artists do that,
Look,
okay.
We have, we know what we want, we know our goal is to have something that people can put on buildings, and then we do it like a public art call. And artists will come up with things that we would have never thought of. But also because they come out sort of organically from somebody's creativity who is a creative professional, rather than a board or a.
That's a great idea. Would that fit into our budget, though, our immediate budget?
Yes, but that's what a budget's for.
We can do what we want with that $30,000, minus all the maintenance, whatever's left over.
I think that would though, because it's not like a gigantic project.
Yeah, I
like
think that'd be a
that.
good idea, yeah. Let me see, then we had the corner library room that we thought might be a great place to have some sort of renovation there. Did you see that? Oh, yeah, you
Yeah,
went.
that was with
Yeah.
the marble sculptures.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe go in there and paint it, do something with the, just make it into a meditation room or something.
Yeah.
And I think that would be fairly inexpensive to do something
I don't
there.
think it'll get a lot of use unless you air condition it.
Yeah,
close it
probably,
in.
True.
probably, yeah.
That's
And that's
true.
where then you get into cost,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
So you don't think that the library would handle that, huh?
Interesting.
And then I think Joan had an idea about remember the cement pipes?
Oh, no, I mentioned, this was a while ago, they have all these concrete pipes of various sizes that are sitting over at the municipal services complex. Nobody knows, they're no longer used. And whether or not an artist could ever do something with them interesting, I have visions of Jenga in my head, but certainly
they are
something more
large, yeah.
imaginative than that. But but that would be a commissioning thing, and
Yeah, because it would
that's
require heavy
probably a much
equipment.
bigger project.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Cranes.
that's something that we.
Frames.
At one point,
Forklifts.
somebody suggested that at the elementary schools, that those be turned into like Crayolas, which could be kind of a fun and exciting thing, but we that's going to be a bigger project than just, let's get some of those concrete pipes and paint them. I think that we're going to get into
So
something.
what other ideas can we put together, very inexpensive projects that we could do in the next year or 2 years?
I think, given the time that it is right now, that this would be something for people, everybody to come with some ideas for the next time to talk, and then we'll also have a clearer idea of where we might be budget-wise, and,
Right.
and it kind of go from there. That would be my
And
suggestion.
then we'd also, the money.
Gives,
We'd know how much money we have left.
Okay, so does anybody want a motion that we change that to the next meeting? Project ideas.
Sure, I'll make the motion to add agenda item 11 under new business, project ideas for 2025 to 2026 budget year from this meeting to our next meeting, which is, what's the date of our next?
September
It's
18th.
September,
9/18.
18th,
September 18, yes.
Before we,
second it.
Second?
are we allowed to have a conversation after the motion is made and seconded?
Yes, you can have a
We can
discussion.
discuss,
I wonder, if next, when we have the meeting in September, if it would make sense to ask staff to make some budget projections for what they think the maintenance and the movement of, the movement of the one
Of the girl,
bronze and the rehabilitation of the butterfly, and also some research on what it might cost to find a print. And so, and I don't remember if there was others that we were talking about literally spending money on, and if we had some budget projections on what maintenance would be for that. And that would be very helpful in terms of
Sure.
thinking about what what projects we might want to do. Because what's the fiscal year for 2026? Is that
the 25,
September?
26 begins October 1, 25. Yeah.
So,
The timing is perfect for,
Well, my understanding was that Joan was going to do the elements, or start on the elements of the maintenance
Start on
program.
that, yeah.
You were going to look into the
well,
butterfly.
once I know how big an area has to be repainted, and I know whether I can do it, or I'll have to call Noel and have the whole thing redone, which will be easier than starting over,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
So I won't know until Streets and Stormwater lets me know how big of an area has to be done. But once they let me know that, then I can contact Noel, and we can go from there. And that can be done before the next meeting. Yeah, that can be done before the next
And
meeting.
the bronze sculptures we're going to do in-house, right?
we're going to do those
So we just
in-house.
need to.
So there's some minimal
get some
expense
people
for
together to
materials.
Start
yeah.
doing those.
right.
Okay.
And would you let us know when it's, because we can't call each other to get together to do it, so would you let us know how we could become involved in
Sure,
restoring
I
the
can-
statues?
Sure.
Because we're gonna leave the ones in place and restore them in place.
I'm sorry.
The ones that aren't gonna be moved, we're gonna restore them in
Well, they
place.
could, no, well, not necessarily, but we can have them remove them, take them over to the municipal services complex where we have a hose, where we have buckets, where we have.
Right.
I would recommend that each time we do one, we actually remove it, bring it in, because a couple of things will happen. If it's out in the public, every Tom, Dick, and Harry who goes
Oh,
by
yeah,
is
that's
gonna
true.
talk to you about it, so it's
Yeah.
gonna take 4 times longer to do. And, we can do it in some shade, because a lot of them are out in the
Yes.
sun, which means we have a sliver of time in December and January when it's gonna be comfortable working on them.
So you would let us know when you
would,
could have them in a place where we could all come and help?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
do that.
By the way, just, you might want to get a sign made if you're going to take them away, and put the sign as and saying
says
that the bronze
Yes,
sculpture
so
has,
nobody-
is gone away just for a little while.
Yes,
while-
a temporary relocation,
Good
yes.
idea.
And then you can
Someone
move
will
that
think
sign
it's stolen.
around.
Right, that's a
because
good
otherwise
point,
someone will
Barbara.
think it's stolen or you're
Oh, yeah.
whatever. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
So maintenance will actually take them away and put them in.
Yeah, that's what they did with the little girl is already over at the municipal service, and I've been working on it over there.
Okay,
Nice.
super.
Yeah.
All right. So that takes care of those,
just need a
those,
vote on
those
that
three
One
areas.
motion hanging.
My
Yeah,
motion.
the project ideas.
Right, project ideas to put it into the September 18th. I need a second on that motion.
It was
so-
second already.
Seconded?
Yeah,
Oh,
we just
Just need
needed.
a vote.
All in favor?
aye.
All against? Nay. Motion approved.
Yes.
Okay, that takes us to any last minute comments? Okay, my understanding is we have to, in the next board meeting, we have to vote on the selection of the alternate for the permanent board.
Oh, a new alternate?
Yeah, no, we have to decide who of the two alternates is going to join us
Oh,
on the
that's up
board.
to us?
We make a recommendation
make a
to the
recommendation
city
to the
council
city council.
to appoint one of the two alternates to a permanent position on the board, and then we can, we have to review the applications from, that originally came in and make a recommendation
Or another
For
alternate?
that-
for
Wait,
another
Another
alternate.
alternate,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm confused. If we don't have to make a recommendation for the person who'll sit on this board, we have to make a recommendation for the replacement alternate.
But we do both, we do both. We have to make a recommendation of one of the two alternates to be moved to a permanent position, and then.
That has to be
isn't that-
approved by
yeah.
the city
And then we have to make a recommendation based on the application. You still have the applications, the original applications from the board.
Right.
And that we would look at those and make
A
reach out.
recommendation from those to be the
be the next
new
alternate.
alternate.
Actually,
Correct.
that
Okay.
one.
For city
actually,
council to-
for that
For city
one, I
council.
think-
Interview them. They
I
have
think
to be
those will
interviewed.
go directly to the city council.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you,
I
John.
think those applications will go directly to the city council for appointment of the
Okay.
next
Yeah,
alternative.
because they have to
member.
interview them, or at least.
Yeah,
interview
oh, that's
them.
right.
Right.
So
That's
it's
right.
up to us to pick between the two alternates, and then it's up to the city council to pick the new alternate.
No.
Right.
Correct?
We would be making a
But I just
recommendation
asked.
for the regular member between your two current alternate members.
Who's
to
the other
replace-
alternate
To
member?
replace
Wendy.
Lena.
Wendy,
Wendy, and she's
And
the
then-
art teacher, no, art restorer.
She's a teacher.
teacher, yeah.
She's an art teacher, okay, got
Is
it.
she in the other elementary school, or no?
No, she teaches a,
A private school, right, or something like that?
Yeah, it's a private school.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I know I was just very dense. We as a board can decide, we vote and say who is, or,
You would be
Recommend.
making
Yeah,
a
we
recommendation
only
to the city
recommend to the-
council on who between the two of your
I
current
see.
alternates will be
And then
replacing
this-
Lena
okay,
Ocampo.
and,
And the
Okay,
city
so-
approves, yeah.
so we really can't act on that until the next. if
Right,
we either
because
have
we
to
don't-
choose- We either have to choose today,
No, it'll be taken up at the next meeting.
that's for next meeting. We'll do all
Right.
that next meeting.
so then what I mean is, then we can't, we would decide at our next meeting, which is in September.
Yes,
And then we would recommend it to the city council,
right.
and then whoever it is wouldn't come to our meeting until November.
November, yes.
So we really would be,
So in the September meeting, we'll have to
we
have,
would be
we'll have to have an
August,
alternative.
September, October, we would be 4 months out without having us settled.
No, Wendy and I are still the alternate, so like, there weren't enough people today, so I sat here instead of there.
Right.
So
But that
when
would
Wendy
in September,
comes,
we do the same
if
thing.
someone
Okay,
else is
thank
on,
you.
Wendy can
Got
sit
it. Okay.
as a board member because she's an alternate.
Okay.
Then we just need to backfill the alternate.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
gotcha, thank you.
Yes.
Perfecto.
Okay, I think our next meeting is September 18th at 6 PM. And I don't think we have any other comments.
I don't, I'm freezing.
More comments, make it warmer.
Yes, please, whoever's in charge of the air conditioning, don't make it so cold.
Motion to make it warmer next time.
No, I'll just be
Bring
smart.
more
I'll be
comments,
smart.
Jenny.
I'll
Bring
bring
a
a sweater next time. I will definitely be bringing.
Okay, so I guess we adjourn the meeting then.
Yes.
Very good.
Move to adjourn?
Good
Yes.
job.
Thank you.
Good job.
I
You
second
got
adjourning.
that.
Yeah, we got a lot done.
Oh.
Good.